Hello, it is March and it's time for a new block of the month. So it's week one block of the month. Welcome, everybody. I'm Diana. I'm the educator, the owner, the designer, the floor cleaner, you name it, here at Sew in Common. So glad to have all of you with me. For all of our returning guests, you know how this goes. It's week one, so I'll be introducing the block for the month of March. And if you're new with us and you haven't done our block of the month with us yet, welcome. All of the information you need, instructions with pictures and all the files and everything can be found over at our website. And I'll tell you all about that in just a little while. So I hope everybody enjoyed our crossover star block for the month of February. It was a fun block to do, and you learned how to do a modified half square triangle and a diamond in a square, and you repeated January's block, the ever popular half square triangle. So that one was a step up from January, but now in March, we're going to step up just a little bit more. And so I have lots of things to tell you about the block for this month, and it is the Pinwheel Star version 1. And I say version 1 because the Pinwheel Star has a lot of different variations that you can do with it. But you see it right here behind me. That is the Pinwheel Star for March. Now, I know it looks a little bit complicated, but just like last month, there are only 3 blocks within the total square. Let me point them out to you. So the first one that you see in the 4 corners, that again is the diamond in a square, which we did last month. Now, the only difference is you'll do 3 corners in one color, and your 4th corner will be done in a different color. That's the only difference. It's made exactly the same way. And then our first kind of new block for the month is right here, our quarter square triangle. So we've done half square triangle, and quarter square triangle is probably the next most often used block that we use in quilting. Very simple to do, but this one is kind of a 2-step process, which I'll talk to you about in a little bit. And then probably the most involved of the blocks of the 3 is this one right here. It is the double modified half square triangle. So last month we did the modified. This month we're doing the double modified. And what I mean by double is, so here, this color, this fabric is our half square triangle. And here we have basically the 2 parts of a quarter square triangle, but they're set in as a half of a quarter square triangle. It's a little confusing there to say it, but it's really easy to do. And it's this block, it's this part of this block that ends up making our pinwheel in the center. So you don't have to make 4 little half square triangles to get that pinwheel made. It's going to come in when you make those 4 double modified half square triangles. So again, this is version 1. The stars with the pinwheel in the center, like I said, there's lots of different variations, but I kind of like this one because it's done with just 3 basic blocks. You don't have to go in and make all of those tiny half square triangles. Now, again, this month the block is 15 by 15 inch finished. Typically that makes, for a block like last month, our finished block sizes for each of the 3 blocks, as we're putting the total square together, was a finished 5 by 5. That's not the case this month because technically there are 4 blocks in a row on this one, not 3 like the one last month. So these finished squares, the quarter, the double modified, and the diamond, are 3.75 inches finished. I know that's a little weird, but not a problem because your embroidery machine is going to do all of that for you. If you only have a 4x4 embroidery hoop for your machine, this is a perfect one because all of these individual pieces can be done in a 4x4 hoop. And then when we sew them together, it comes into this big, beautiful 15 by 15 inch square. Now, if you have bigger hoops and you wish to make more than one square or block in a hooping, you can certainly do that. So you're going to be making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarter square triangles. That is the block that is kind of a two-step process, but you're making it half at a time, and you can make multiples in a hoop and then sew them together if you want. So that one's pretty easy to do as multiples. The modified, I would say that yes, you can do more than one, but I'm going to suggest, because this is the more involved block for this month, that maybe you make your very first one as a single block in a single hooping, just so that you get used to the idea. That way you're not going to get confused where you are and how to move things around and all. So that one is a little more involved. So try it out as a single hooping for one block first. And then, whoops, ooh, hang on. I just lost the cap off of my little pointer, which is actually a stylus, a very pointy stylus. I would have rammed that right through my hand. And then our diamond in a square, since you did those last month, if you've already been doing the block of the month with us, again, that one could easily be done a couple of them at a time in a bigger hoop. Let me just mention something about doing multiple squares in a hoop. Get that hoop to be as small as you need it to be. And I suggest not doing more than 2, maybe 3, if you have one of those gigantic hoops. But the bigger the hoop you use, the more chance you have for things to slip and get out of register. So when I do multiples, I really never do more than 2 in a hooping at a time. It still cuts down my hoopings by about half if I can do that for all of them. And I just find you have less of a chance of getting things out of register. My tip to you, but if you are a more experienced embroiderer and you're used to doing multiple things in a hoop and you don't seem to have problems, or tips and tricks to keep that from happening, the misalignments and stuff from happening, then by all means, you try it out and you do what you like to do. But for all of us that are newer to piecing in the hoop, I suggest that you don't do more than 2 in a hoop. Now, again, we're going to do 4 double modified half square triangles. We're going to do 8 quarter square triangles, and we're going to do 4 of our diamonds in a square. So, and they're all going to be a finished size of 3.75 inches. So 3¼ inches, not too bad. But I really think that's pretty. And you see how it comes together to make some really interesting looks. So the quarter squares, along with that little piece of the diamond, makes this kind of an interesting shape. You get your pinwheel here, and you get kind of, with these colors, you get kind of almost a border around it. I just think it's a lovely star to do. Now, I will tell you that for this particular star this month, you're going to need 3 fabrics. So let's talk about that right now. Right here where you see the white, that needs to be a light color. That will be your lightest color of the whole block. It can be a print that reads as solid. We talked about that last month, and we even have a video on it last month about prints that read as solid. Check out last month's the February inspiration video from week 2. That'll help you out if you're new to doing the whole idea of solids that, or prints that read as solid. You will also need a smaller print in a color like you see in this pink. It has little white flowers in it. Truly, that's almost, it really is print that could read as a solid, but it's more what we would call for this block our medium color. So light, medium, and dark are going to be our three colors. Light would be here, medium, and then here you see this bigger print. That's going to be your dark color. Now you could do those all in solids, a light, medium, dark solids, or you could do them all in prints. But again, prints that read as solid for these two and a larger print here. This quilt has an interesting idea that you could try out. In your diamonds in a square, those are perfect if you have fabric that you want to fussy cut. So let's say you're going to do something and you have a big, beautiful flower on the print, the darker print. You could fussy cut it into those centers and that would look absolutely gorgeous. So that's kind of the breakdown there, but I want to take you now under the camera because I want to talk about each one of the blocks a little bit more. So let's start with our diamond in a square. Now, I apologize, when I was doing the sample for this, I forgot to do my last one in a different color because I'm kind of crazy that way. It was a long week this week. But this is really simple. Same way you did the diamond in a square last month. Just it's a little bit smaller. Last month's finished was a 5-inch finish. This is 3 3¾ inches. On this one, you're going to have your darkest fabric in the center, and you're going to have 3 corners in your lightest fabric and your last corner in your medium fabric. Pretty simple, that one. Now let's talk about the quarter square triangle. Now the quarter square is a little interesting because it's actually made in 2 parts. You're going to make, let's just cover this up. You're going to stitch out 1/2 twice. And you stitch it out the exact same way because you're going to sew it together on your sewing machine. Okay. And so stitch them out exactly the same way. You're going to have on this one, you're going to have your light fabric, your lightest, and then your medium, and then your lightest and your medium. And then we'll stitch them together. Now I've shown you how to do this in previous videos, but later this week, I'm putting out another video just on how to stitch the quarter square triangle and the double modified, just for folks who are real visual learners. We'll be doing that. So that is your quarter square triangle. And then here, I made this one a little bigger so you could see it a little bit better. This is our double modified. So with the double modified, on the half that is your quarter square, you're going to have your light and your medium, your light and your medium, and then this whole half here is going to be your dark. That's your 3rd color, okay? Super simple to do. When you make this one, let me see, I'm trying to remember how I laid this out. Yes, so you just start, you do 1, add the 2nd, do the 3rd, do the 4th, and then you run this line and add that 3rd fabric. Again, you'll be seeing exactly how these get stitched out on the video that comes out on, this video is going to come out on Tuesday, okay? For stitching these out. I will not be showing how to stitch out the diamond in a square again because I've already done that on a previous video. So you can check those out on the channel. You can look for that one. But I do want to stitch these 2 out for you in that video so that you can see how they get done, okay? Now, those are our blocks that make up our Pinwheel Star version 1. But now I want to show you a couple things. I have a couple of little extras for you on today's video. I've been getting a lot of questions. Diana, how do you do your blocks? Blah, 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 blah. How do you digitize them? Well, I digitize them myself in the software, step by step. But I thought you might like to see what I start out with. I always start out with a drawing where I walk myself through everything step by step, and I do it in a couple of colors, dashed and straight lines. That just helps me know where I'm going. Once I get into my software, I know what I'm thinking about. And then I still typically make a mistake and have to go back and fix something before I do my first stitch out. But that's my process. I thought you might be interested in that since several of you have asked me about that. Now, here is like the big bonus for today's video. We have talked a lot in the last couple of months about stabilizers. And I know that a lot of you don't like to use no-show mesh, although I think it's a great stabilizer. But I know some of you are concerned about getting the bulk out of your seams. Speaking of getting the bulk out of your seams, that's the bonus video this week. So the stitch out video is not going to be considered your bonus. The bonus video this week is going to be all of the tips and tricks I know on how to get the bulk out of your seams when you quilt. And these tips and tricks work whether you are piecing in the hoop like we do here at Sew in Common, or if you're doing it by hand or by sewing machine. So stay tuned for that a little bit later in the week on how to reduce the bulk. But this, I'm going to talk about this in that video, but I wanted to share it with all of you today as well. So we've talked about using a light weight muslin. Works great for all natural stabilizer. Then we've talked about using no-show mesh, like you see here. Works great, but it does stay in the block, and it can add, like you see in this one, it stays, and it does add a layer to it. Now, I think over time, for a quilt that's going to get used a lot, that's good because it helps support the quilt over time and give it a longer life. But I know a lot of you don't like it, and I know a lot of you don't like my tip about doing your pressing on a lighter temperature, because we're all into that. We've kind of been drilled into using that cotton setting and really scorching our fabrics. And so I've been thinking about that for all of you who just can't break that habit, because I know it took me a little while to break that habit too. I've been thinking about that for you. So if you don't like the no-show, I think we talked about this in one of last week's videos. Yeah, in fact, it was this piecing video, I believe. Have you gotten your strip piecing set yet? It's available over at the website if you're looking for this one. Lots of fun to do your string piecing blocks. But my point here is that I know a lot of you have asked about using tearaway. I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it. I don't like using tearaway for piecing in the hoop. It stays in your seams, and it's really rough getting it out without breaking those run stitches or getting them to start coming out. So I really don't like tearaway. So I'm really going to advise you to stay away from tearaway. However, I pulled out another stabilizer that we all know if we've done any other types of embroidery, especially like freestanding lace, and that is water soluble or wash away. So this stabilizer, these types of wash away they look white and opaque. They're not the clear toppers at all. Don't use that. But these white non-woven ones are made out of starch. I know a lot of folks are like, oh, it's going to hurt my plumbing and all. Trust me, it won't. If you ever boil potatoes and you pour that potato water down the drain, you're putting more starch into your pipes than you are with wash away stabilizer. And when you use it for piecing, you're not doing the soaking and then throwing all that water away. So it won't matter at all for that. But it's perfect, I found, because it holds up perfectly for the stitching. And look, now these have black and stuff in them because I was doing these samples. so that you could see the stitching in the pictures. But look, there's no stabilizer at all. Guys, this feels and looks just like I did it by hand or on my sewing machine. And there's no stabilizer left in. And I want to show you how I did it. I think I might have showed it. Well, I've talked about it in a shorts video, but I want to show you. This is my water pen. This one I think is from Clover. It comes with a little bottle of conditioner. Don't use the conditioner for this technique. Use the conditioner for whatever it's meant for. But all you need to put in here is water. Or you can use an art pen from the craft store in the art supply department. Or you can use a Q-tip or a little paintbrush, whatever you like to use. But I like these little water pens. And all you do I have enough water in here? Oh, I have a little bit. All you do with this is you're going to take and wet down your seams, just your seams, okay? You don't have to do in the centers or anything like that. And I'm just kind of outlining them with this water pen. Oh, I might be running out. I think I might be able to get it all though. No, I'm out of my water, but I've got enough on here that you can see. But I would continue to go around and do all of them. Now, don't start picking it off with your fingers, because remember, water-soluble stabilizer is made out of starch, so it gets really sticky on your hands. It's kind of a nasty feeling. Get yourself a pair of tweezers, and then come in, and the very first thing I do is I don't know why that did that. That's weird. I just come in here and I just peel it off. And look at how easy that peeled off. I mean, super easy, right? Then I just take that off over in the garbage. And then when I get into my pieces, I just rough that a little bit with the edge of the tweezer. And I pull it off. Get rid of that one. Now this one might not all come out because I didn't get all the sides. Yeah, these two sides aren't going to come out because I didn't get them. But I would take all of that out. Then once it's all out, yes, it's a little bit wet, but you are going to press your blocks, because we always press when we're before we put things together. Accidentally cut that there. That's why it started to do that. What I do is I press it on top of a piece of wax paper, or not wax paper, parchment paper, or a non-stick mat that we use, because there might be a little bit of the starch in there. And I press it from the front. And then if I have to come in the back and open seams and stuff, I do that then. But what you end up with is a block with absolutely no stabilizer at all left in. And that way, when you open up these seams, when you stitch your quarter square together, this lays really flat. There's no hard spot in the center. And it's important on this double modified, because right here is where you're liable to get bumpy, because everything comes together there. But when you take out that stabilizer and then press it, it's a little firm, but it's nice and flat and beautiful. It's not going to cause you a problem when you go to quilt or anything like that. And when I do the video for you on reducing bulk this week, I'll give you a lot more tips to help you reduce that bulk. But I want you to give this a try this week. If you have this type of stabilizer, doesn't matter the brand at all. I probably have 3 or 4 different brands of this, from the cheapest I found on Amazon to some really fancy name brand that I found in my fabric shops. They all pretty much work the same way. They're all pretty much made out of the same thing, starch, which is sticky, and a little bit of a binder, and wash away. And you can see that when you do them in your blocks like this, you're not dissolving away all of that starch into water. You're just doing your edges and then peeling them off. In fact, I did get this one. The longer you let it go, it just kind of dissolves away. There we go. I didn't get all of that edge over there, but that one's pretty much all gone. See, that's what I mean by use a pair tweezers because it does give a little sticky on your fingers. And I really don't like having jam hands or sticky hands, starchy hands. But it works perfectly. So what I did was I stitched everything out. And then all I put in here, if you've got really good tap water's fine. Our tap water here in our rural area isn't great, so I use bottled water. But you could use whatever water you want in there. And I just go around and this was only about halfway full when I started, so it did almost all 3 of those little blocks. So it's just water, right? Not a problem at all. And then when you go to wash your quilt later on, there's not going to be any stabilizer even to wash away. I mean, yeah, there might be a few molecules of hidden starch in there, but it's not going to cause any kind of a problem for you at all. So I hope that you enjoy that process because, again, with a quilt like this, no one's ever going to know. If you're still worried about the idea somebody might know that you did it with your embroidery machine, first, don't worry about it. It's just another technique you use to make your quilt blocks. But this is going to feel just like a quilt that is done either on the sewing machine or by hand, because there won't be any kind of stabilizer left in there and all. In fact, I am almost to the opinion that for myself that if I'm going to be doing something that's going to be a wall hanging, linens for the kitchen or dining room, or a small throw quilt, something like that, I'm probably going to do this technique. I will probably stay with my no-show mush for my larger bed quilts because I do think they add longevity to the quilt. And since I do fix older quilts, that's important. That's what I do mostly when I fix older quilts is restabilize them. So, but I think this is going to become my new favorite. I really love it. So, okie doke, let's go back over to our main camera here. So here is our Pinwheel Star V.1. That's our March block of the month. Now, if you've already been with us for a while, you've done January or February, you know that all of the patterns and all can be found at our website, www.sewincommon.com. All block of the month patterns for the block. You get all written instructions. This month's block has step-by-step pictures on making all 3 of those stars and a graphic on how they come together. Very simple. So all your written and visual instructions are in there. Plus, you get all of the popular machine formats. So if you have a Bernina now, you can choose the Bernina files. If you have a FOF later, choose FOF later on if you want to remake that star for something. So all of those are in there, and the block of the month for folks that are new are completely free all through 2023. Okay, so you can go back and grab January's and February's. They're still out there. They're still free. And again, for folks that are new, week 2 is our of the month is our inspiration week, where we talk about maybe fabrics or techniques, different things like that, to help kind of inspire us with this month's block and our quilting in general. Week 3 is a brand new quilting design that I digitize and create that will go with anything, but has been made to kind of go with the project that's coming on week 4 of the month. Week 4 of the month is the project, and it's our live Q&A, where on the 4th week of the month, we meet right here at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you get to bring your questions and your comments, talk with each other, talk with me, and I introduce you to the final project of the month. So all of that information can be found over at our website, so check that out. Oh, again, somebody asked me what I meant when I said tag us and hashtag us for pictures. When you load your pictures, do the @ Sew in Common and the hashtag Sew in Common. That will help me find your photos. And I like to show those during the Q&A on the 4th week of the month. So don't be shy about doing those. You can also go to our Facebook group, which is, again, Sew in Common, and you can load your pictures right on there. And I kind of check that out. I get notified and I'll see those there. But if you're going to load them somewhere else, maybe you have a site that you load your photos on, if you'll put the tag and the hashtag, then for sure I can find them that way. So that's that. If you need to contact me outside the comments for this video, and please feel free to comment, leave me questions if you like. As some of our folks know, I love getting feedback from you all because I love doing videos for you that are request videos. You've requested it. In fact, I will just tell you that the video coming this week for getting bulk out, that is a request video. That's like the third or fourth request video we've done now. And I love doing those for you guys. But you can also contact me at my business email, diana@sewincommon.com as well. All righty. I think that is everything. You can get your patterns now. They're available at the website and get started on your Pinwheel Star. And until next time, we always end with this phrase: sew life beautiful, everybody. Enjoy making your star. If you have questions, anything, please contact me, and I'll see you all real soon. Bye for now.